Welcome to another edition of The Leopards Are Eating My Face. This is the MAGAs whining that they're supporting Donald Trump, and now Donald Trump is destroying their lives and destroying their businesses. Let's take a look at the latest example. Company executives at one of Louisiana's largest shipyards donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to Republicans over the years. In 2020, the Trump administration deported more than a dozen of the shipyard's workers. And now, of course, as these shipyards are very low on labor supply, they are relying on, potentially undocumented labor, migrants. They're trying desperately to bring in workers, but Donald Trump and his team are threatening workplace raids. And while a lot of these shipyard companies are saying, oh, not us, we're not actually hiring undocumented labor, the workplace raids threat seems like it's going to be a deterrent to further harm these companies, because these companies seem very nervous. Hat tip to our friends at ProPublica, who have written the following article. They've been breaking a lot of news lately. Great work, ProPublica. Trump has promised to build more ships, but he may deport the workers who helped make them. President-elect Donald Trump has promised to increase the pace of U.S. military shipbuilding, but his pledge to also clamp down on immigration could make it hard for shipyards already facing work yard shortages. Also, the fact that Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans killed the bipartisan border deal, which would have provided a pathway for those migrants who are contributing to our economy to not have to hide in the shadows while having a very powerful and strong border. Donald Trump blew up potentially his ability to increase the building capacity of shipyards. And if you're in the shipyard industry as well, put in the comments below your experience here. I'd love to hear from you. So early last year, Donald Trump promised that when he got back into the Oval Office, his ProPublica article explains, he'd authorize the U.S. Navy to build more ships. Very important because it's jobs, great jobs. However, the companies that build ships for the government are already having trouble finding enough workers to fill those jobs. So perhaps the issue may be a little more complicated than a stupid MAGA slogan. And Trump may make it even harder if he follows through on his pledge he's made to clamp down on immigration and specifically do work site raids. Now, you'll recall that President Biden stopped the practice of work site raids because that practice is idiotic and dangerous and mean-spirited. You're going to go after people who are working and contributing to the economy. Look, you want to go after the bad guys? Go after the bad guys, the terrorists, the criminals. They should get the full force of the law. Nobody wants terrorists and criminal migrants here. Full stop. However, there are migrants who are working hard in areas like shipbuilding, in hospitality, in construction, and guess what? Pivotal to our agriculture. So what do you think's going to happen to those individuals when you start doing worksite raids? In fact, what do you think the chilling effect already is when your border czar, who acts like a Mr. Tough Guy, keeps going on Fox and keeps saying not only is he going to deport the migrants, but he's going to deport their children as well, even if they were born in the United States of America. And MAGA is talking about ending birthright citizenship. How do you think that's going to affect morale? How are you going to build, baby, build when you treat people like utter crap? Think about that. But Donald Trump doesn't usually have that thinking cap on. At least I don't see it when he's out playing golf all of the time with his rich billionaire oligarch friends at Mar-a-Lago. The article goes on to say, the president-elect has told his supporters he would impose new limits on the numbers of immigrants allowed into the country and stage the largest mass deportation campaign in history. Trump called it it'll be a bloody mass deportation, he said. Meanwhile, the shipbuilding industry, which he also says he supports, and which has given significant financial support to him and Republican causes, is struggling to overcome an acute worker shortage. Immigrants have been critical to helping fill the gap. So, Donald, I know that you're tech bro friends like Elon are telling you that the H-1B visas are the only ones that are actually needed because, those relate to the tech companies where your billionaire tech bro friends work. First off, let me be very clear. I believe that there should be reforms to the H-1B program. I believe there's a role for H-1B. It's abused a lot, and it's also used quite frequently to prevent Americans who would have to be paid more money who are actually trained in STEM-related jobs, science, tech, engineering, and mathematics, from holding those jobs. We actually have a lot of qualified talent in America to do STEM-related jobs, but then you have to go by American labor laws. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't a role for H-1B, but the broader point here is that there's actually work labor shortages in agriculture, in shipbuilding, in construction, in hospitality, but because Donald Trump appears to have his little puppet strings pulled by Elon Musk, Donald Trump, his view is counterintuitive to all that other stuff. Okay. According to a Navy report from last year, several major shipbuilding programs are years behind, owing largely to a lack of workers. The shortfall is so severe that warship production is down to its lowest levels in a quarter of a century. Shipbuilders and the government have poured millions of dollars into training and recruiting American workers, and as part of the bipartisan bill just introduced in the Senate, they have proposed to spend even more. Last year, the Navy awarded nearly $1 billion in no-bid contract to a Texas nonprofit to modernize the industry with more advanced technology in a way that will make it more attractive to workers. The nonprofit has already produced splashy TV ads for submarine jobs. One of its goals is to help the submarine industry hire 140,000 new workers in the next 10 years. We build giants, one of its ad beckons. It takes one to build one. Still, experts say these robust efforts have so far resulted in nowhere near enough workers for current needs, let alone a workforce large enough to handle expanded production. Quote, "We're trying to get blood from a turnip," said Shelby Oakley, an analyst at the Government Accountability Office. Oh, think about that. The Government Accountability Office. I'm sure Trump's going to listen to the Government Accountability Office. It's probably one of the places on the chopping blocks, or one of the places they're going to go after. The domestic workforce is just not there. In the meantime, the industry is relying on immigrants for a range of shipyard duties, with many working jobs similar to those on a construction site, including as cleanup crews and as welders and painters and pipe fitters. And executives worry that any future immigration crackdown on restrictions on legal immigration, including limits on asylum or temporary protected status programs, could cause disruptions that would further harm their capacity for production. Ron Will, the president and chief operating officer of All American Marine in Washington State, said that his company was clawing for workers. And Peter Duclos, the president of Gladding Hearn Shipbuilding in Somerset, Massachusetts, said the current immigration system is so broken that he was already having trouble holding on to valuable workers and finding more. So let me get this straight, though. President Biden, and in a bipartisan fashion with Republicans led by the very conservative Republican Senator James Lankford, had a plan to deal with this, to solve this, to address this. But Donald Trump and MAGA Mike Johnson said kill the bipartisan border deal because they wanted a broken system. They wanted chaos because they thought running on chaos was a winning issue for them. But look, this is the leopards eating the face. This is the find out stage of all of this. I do want to address this as well because I think it's important. As I mentioned before, a lot of the Trump supporters who heard Donald Trump say previously in 2016 and 2020 that he was going to stop H-1B visas and have Americans replace those jobs. They're in the find out stage there as well. And here's what's going on in the right-wing subreddit, r/conservative. Tesla replaced its laid off U.S. workers with foreign workers using H-1B visas. You got to always follow the money, folks. And then a lot of these comments from these MAGA people are like, look, It's insane how high I was on this guy just 3 days ago and how fast I have come to utterly abhor him over one topic. It's not that he disagreed with me, it's how he did it. And then the next response from one of these right-wing people say, because, and I mean this in the kindest possible way, you were played, your vote has been cast, and he no longer needs to keep up with appearances. Trump did a lot in his first term that I agreed with, but his rhetoric has always been just that, rhetoric. He's a dodgy billionaire. Elon's a dodgy billionaire, and both have serious ego problems. Think about that. And that's an issue that Democrats need to hammer on, that they need to hit. The dodgy billionaires, greedy billionaires, these guys are the problem. I mean, just look how reckless this was. This is one of the things that Elon Musk did as well. So before the terrorist attack in New Orleans and before the special forces guy unalived himself in front of the Trump building in Vegas, Elon Musk changed his Twitter account name to Kekius Maximus and used like a right-wing image of Pepe the Frog. And Kekius is some right-wing bizarre meme coin. And when Elon changed his name from Elon Musk to Kekius Maximus, it caused a rise in this meme token to rise from a penny to 39 cents. Reaching a peak market cap of $380 million. Now you have to imagine that Elon Musk, who is the leader of this Bitcoin meme coin, or one of the leaders, in my opinion, of this Bitcoin meme coin type of culture, was aware that it would have a potential impact on the market, and a very unregulated market, and a market that MAGA doesn't want to regulate at all. But when Elon Musk changed his profile back after the terrorist attack, and after what happened in front of the Trump building, he changed it from Kekius Maximus back to Elon Musk. It triggered a 75% plunge for the Ethereum-based meme coin namesake, and it's still going down. So you just think about this culture that's out there. I mean, you are now, Elon, you run this fake government agency, Doge, and there's could you imagine if someone in the Biden administration was doing crap like that? It would be front page everywhere. That's all we would hear about. But instead, what we hear about from the right wing is their lies about the New Orleans terrorist being a migrant, or that this somehow dealt with him coming in from Eagle Pass, which is a total lie. We still hear the lies drowning out the MAGA issues that they're actually engaged in. So KISS, keep it simple, stupid, Democrats, and ABC, always be campaigning. KISS ABC, keep it simple, stupid, always be campaigning, and repeat over and over again. KISS ABC, KISS ABC, keep it simple, stupid, always be campaigning. Americans hate billionaires, okay? They hate the exploitation. Americans want housing. Americans want healthcare. Americans want education and lower prices. Simple. It's a simple formula. So while MAGAs are saying, oh, the migrants, they're eating your cats and dogs, and get angry about transgender volleyball players from San Jose State, they're distracting people, but they're being repetitive about it and distracting people with issues that people shouldn't be mad about. Remind people what's really going on. Remind them about the billionaire class at Mar-a-Lago, the leopards that are eating the faces. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers together.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram at MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.